welcome back. We're now sweet guests. So our very first conversation for the day, and we'll be talking artificial intelligence. What is this all about? It's been literally a buzzword in the last years, and it's changing the dynamics of how we travel, how we prosecute war and business. So what exactly is this all about? That's why we're being joined by the people in the know. We've been joined by the country director of Microsoft Nigeria, Ms. Ola Williams. Madam, thank you so much for coming on the program and welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people have heard AI, and it means different things to different people. So my initial outlook will be posing it to you as helping us to unpack some of the possibilities of this unique idea called AI, because maybe you start by the definition or a basic explanation, then expand to some of the possibilities that this has for us as Africans and specifically Nigerians, and then we can move from there.
Thank you very much for that question. I know so many people are interested in AI, what it means, how does it impact them, how does it affect their life. And it's an interesting conversation to have because whether we like it or not, AI has come to stay. It's already influencing our life today. So when we talk about AI, we all know that it's a short form for artificial intelligence. It's just machine mimicking how humans behave, and it is to help us to be more productive, to focus our ingenuity on how we can really bring a lot of creativity as human, drive sustainable growth in different aspects of life, whether it's in business or in education or even the way we play, just as you said. I mean, a lot of us are on social media. We've seen how in different ways things have been, bubble off to us based on our interests. These are driven by AI, and there is so many use cases in different industries. But as more people, get to understand AI, use it, but use it responsibly, then it will be more beneficial to everyone. And when we put it in the context of African continent, based on the fact that we have technology driving our life today, and African continent is the home to the youngest population across the globe, then we have a huge opportunity to leverage AI to transform Africa, not only in form of using technology, but also be the global power to leverage AI to build new business opportunities, create job opportunities for Africans, and help Africa to actually be at forefront of leveraging technology. So we have a unique opportunity here. But of course, we need to understand how do we leverage this potential that AI have in Africa for Africans, and to help the global, to help drive innovation and create solutions to African problems leveraging AI technology. We have that opportunity, and I think we need to discuss how can we make sure that we enable that.
Well, before we begin to talk about the possibilities, maybe we should focus our lens on the risks first of all. In a world of deep voices and deep fakes, have we been prepared in the form of legislation to be able to rein in on these extremes and how they affect, our society, how they affect individuals, personalities? For instance, at Channels Television, a lot of our anchors have had to address, the imitations of their images and their voices with the use of artificial intelligence. So have we been prepared in the form of a national legislation that will, check a lot of these extremities?
To answer that question, I'll start this way. For us at Microsoft, our drive to empower people to leverage AI is rooted in our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And when we are creating technology to help human must be at the core of it, and to ensure that technology is used responsibly. And based on this philosophy, we have worked over the years to come up with principles, guiding principles on the creation of AI solutions and the use of it in a way that is beneficial to all. And rooted in those principles are our 6 principles of fairness, privacy and safety, security, transparency, inclusion, and accountability. And of course, we know that this is not something that Microsoft alone can do. We have to partner with governments, with stakeholders, academia, to ensure that we are prepared. So we are working with government. In fact, last week, one of our senior leaders came from Redmond. Anthony Cook was in Nigeria, visiting our customers, hearing from them how they're using AI, what are the challenges that they're seeing, and how can we take those feedback back into building solution that is relevant for Africa. And we also met with government, and one of the people that he met with government is the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, to talk about how can we support in building the right policy. And you know that today the minister had already launched AI strategy for Nigeria, building on the work that NITA has done on AI policy. I will say it's a journey. Yes, we are on that right trajectory to make sure that it happens. But of course, it will take concerted effort. Private sector, government stakeholders, academia, non-for-profits, and of course, all the stakeholders in the tech ecosystem to build on that. And learning from what we have done on that collaborative effort, we are also bringing into the conversations that we're having with government.
I wonder personally if you get this a lot, people look at you and say, wait a minute, you work in Microsoft. Is there some AI to you right now? Do you have a chip in your back? I don't know if people ask you that kind of question. But that's just on the lighter side. I'm thinking about what you're saying now, and I'm looking at the possibilities, really. A lot of people have, of course, their fears and the rest, but as has been said, you can always see opportunities. Now we had, the power grid issues over the weekend, and I'm thinking, how can AI actually help our nation when it comes to the power sector? We had challenges with elections.
Correct.
And I'm thinking, how can AI actually help us to resolve some of those issues? So I'm looking forward to having AI solve some of these challenges that we have. But you said something quite instructive that I want to follow up on. You said that your policy at Microsoft is that humans will be at the core of AI. And that's an irony, because when you hear AI, what a lot of people think is AI is pushing people out, essentially. But you say humans will be at the core of it. So how are you trying to find a balance? Because I imagine it's a tricky balance. A lot of people think once AI is here, I lose my job, I become, out of fashion, and then I am useless in quote. But you are trying to put human beings at the core. How does that work?
So I hear that a lot, where people have their reservations and fears about AI. But if we dimension the issue correctly, and looking at how we position AI, the concept of Copilot itself, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about Microsoft Copilot, and it is just the way we envision that AI will partner with human to drive innovation, creativity. Copilot, in a way, ensures that human actually have the ultimate decision. So it's not an autopilot, not that AI is taking control. For example, Copilot is infused into your Word document or your Teams meeting. After the meeting, it can help you to summarize the meeting and give a view of it. But ultimately, you are the final decision maker into what you want to push out based on the summary that Copilot provide for you. So we're saying that AI hasn't come to replace human. In fact, AI has come to help us to remove mundane tasks that human being engages on daily in their work, so that human can really focus on being productive and being more creative. So for example, today, the time that I spend on summarizing meetings, AI does that for me. I can only read through and say, okay, by the way, this summary is good, and make a few edits. So that shortens the time that I take in summarizing meeting, maybe from 2 hours or 1 hour to 5 minutes. So that 55 minutes, I can put it into something more productive that will really benefit the business and eventually benefit the society. So our message is that AI hasn't come to replace human, because human creativity is, we all can attest to that, that is almost unlimited. But humans have to be at the core of understanding how AI can benefit them. And I get it. I mean, when we can think back several years ago when electricity was being invented or internet was being invented, people will have their reservation. And as many people that understand that this is a change that has come to stay, skill up themselves for it, prepare themselves for it, are relevant. Maybe if we don't have internet, we don't have technology, I won't be sitting here talking to you as the country manager of Microsoft, right? So AI will provide opportunity for our young Nigerians for new jobs that we don't even envisage today. We're talking about cybersecurity experts today because there is internet, because there is cyber solution, because we have a lot of people using technology across the globe. The same way, AI will provide new opportunities, even for generations yet unborn. So what is prudent today is that people try to understand AI and how it can help them to be more productive. Embrace it, and the more people that uses AI, the better it is, especially for us in Africa. Because when we look at the study done on AI Readiness Index, Africa is still lagging behind on a number of things. One, on connectivity, of course, also in terms of skill, and we can see that maybe 1 in every 14 data scientists is an African. And that's a limitation on itself, because the amount of data sets that we have, especially almost everyone is using generative AI. The amount of data sets that speak to African context is still limited today. So if we are all afraid of AI and we're not participating, we're not using it, we are missing out. And we have an opportunity not to miss out, because cloud computing, internet has provided a level playing field for every continent to really benefit from AI. But it's up to us to say we want to understand it. Companies, leaders should understand AI. Individuals within organizations need to understand AI. Also develop themselves to be able to be relevant in the evolution that AI has brought into how we work, how we play, and all that we do.
Fantastic. Now, I'm looking at, we're going to explore some of the macroeconomic elements that AI can help, like is mentioned in terms of the challenges we have as a people. But trickling it down to students now, are you worried, or those of you who are experts, that's what I mean by you now, are you worried that some of the things that AI is bringing to the table is going to affect scholarship rigor that is required for academics, where people now just go and they can do their project without necessarily stressing themselves? Because going to school, you're expected to have that level of scholarship rigor to be awarded a degree. Are you worried?
So this is the way I'll respond to it. There will always be some level of challenges in every evolving technology. But in terms of education, I don't want to look at it as a worry. Yes, you did mention that people can go take things, but the same AI can also help you to check plagiarism. So as you are looking at it from one hand, you're also looking at the same AI as a tool to check all this that will potentially make people to be, how you want to put it, not putting the right level of rigor. But what the access to information, access to tools that AI enables students will even help them to be, to activate their creativity faster. So if it takes you maybe several weeks to be able to put some some information together for your schoolwork, then maybe with AI you can do that in less than a day. Then you can now think through how what you are bringing can really solve problem, rather than looking at spending a lot of your time on trying to gather information. I think that is the best way to look at it. And also to educate our students on the best way to use AI. That AI hasn't come to make you to be lazy and go just put things together. But AI has come to help you to even be more creative in your studies and really prepare yourself to be a leader in your field. So I think that is the way we should look at it. And I think for me, one is also important is that academia are also brought into the conversation. And that's what we do at Microsoft. We look at everyone and bring them in a way that will help to ensure that they are also using AI in a responsible manner. And that's why all our guiding principle actually speaks to that. When you speak about transparency, AI can actually enable that even if I copy something, with AI, we can detect that has been done.
Speaking of worries still and what you do at Microsoft, back to the point about deep voices and deep fakes. One of the things that enables the spread of these outcomes by AI is the search engines, Microsoft, Chrome, Google. What are these search companies doing to ensure that the algorithms that throw up these results are flagged and tagged? Because this goes a long way to, spread fake news and damage personalities.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, and those concerns are valid. But for us, we are making a lot of investment, especially with our partnership with OpenAI, to ensure that all this we are able to mitigate most of these challenges, and we also give our users the opportunity to give us feedback, report issues. If you look at Bing today, users have opportunity to be able to report any incidents in such manner that they see. And Bing can also provide suggestions to say, look, these are the sources where this information that you are seeing are coming from. So daily, we continue to invest in ways to ensure that we're able to mitigate some of these challenges. I think it's part of the journey that we have to go through, and that's why it is important that everyone is involved, that people don't shy away or, see AI as something that they don't want to get involved with because of the fear. The more people are able to contribute to it, the more we're able to learn faster and re-innovate better.
I'm very interested in this conversation because of the possibilities, really, and you can see all of us we're digging deep into it, looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly, as it were. But we can talk about how a lot of people fear that AI will take over the world, super intelligent AI, because we watched Terminator, right? And we saw how things ended there. So there is that fear, and people are thinking, is this the end of the world starting right now? But then there are opportunities. So I'd like you to speak to the young Nigerian out there who is probably searching for a job and looking for a way to be better at life. What opportunities are there for that young Nigerian with AI? The unemployed, even the older generation. It'll interest you that you find a lot of older people talking AI now. They're really interested. So if we would, this government says it wants to create 1 million tech jobs. There's unemployment in Nigeria is on the rise. There's lots of challenges. So what are let me just use the term, the money-making ventures that AI can provide for Nigerians? I'm talking about the applicabilities now.
Good question, and I'll give an example. In Nigeria today, we have a number of startups that are already looking at building solutions on AI. I see a Nigerian company, leverage AI using Azure AI platform to build solutions that addresses power for underserved communities. And they leverage Azure AI to target over 12,000 Nigerians that require power, clean power in underserved communities, and also using the same AI to help them to optimize their power usage. That's one example. And there are several examples like that we can provide. So the opportunity is enormous. I think For us, if you look at the opportunities in Africa, in Nigeria, it's really great. One, we have a thriving tech hub community in Nigeria. We have one of the youngest population on the continent. We have access to technology. A lot of the current young people are born in the cloud. They don't understand what the world was like without internet.
With diskettes.
Yes. so they are at a privileged position, if I may say, to really leverage AI. And the world is a global village. You can actually have a skill that is sellable across the globe, sitting in your own home and be earning from different parts of the world. So the opportunity for Africans and Nigerians to win big in this AI era is here. And we need to look at it from that perspective. And today, there are new job opportunities for AI. We're talking about data scientists, prompt engineers. These are the skills that people need to start learning. But the good news is there's so many platforms that can actually enable that. Microsoft, one of the things that we're doing is to ensure that people have access to the right skills, the right tools, and the right opportunities to be able to participate in this innovation and contribute to the global economy. And we have partnered with the federal government of Nigeria through the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy to skill 5 million Nigerians. And part of the skilling, AI is skilling program, curriculum is embedded in our skilling platform. So I encourage young Nigerians to put their energy and resources in gaining these new skills because it gives them a whole lot of new opportunities and potentials for them to be relevant and create opportunities. There are a number of organizations that are looking for tech people in AI-related field. But there are so many unemployed people, but they don't have that relevant skills. So if we invest maybe 6 months, 1 year to develop those skills as a young person today, that means tomorrow I know that I'm relevant for the foreseeable future. So to every young Nigerians out there, please, I'll encourage you, even if you're working today, try to develop your skills on understanding AI. And you don't need to have a tech background. There's so many possibilities. Even understanding AI can give you insight into use cases that is applicable to your own industry, whether you are a doctor, a lawyer, or even an educationist. You can really create a new opportunities for yourself just by understanding what AI brings to the table in your field and be able to bring new innovation. And of course, for leaders within organization, every leader today should be thinking about how AI will transform their business. Because if you're not doing that, your competition is doing that. And that means in another few years, it could even be months, based on what we're seeing, organizations that are focused on building the right AI strategy, the right culture to implement those strategies, and building the right skill set within the organization to be able to drive the strategy will be at the cutting edge of sustainable business versus organizations that are not thinking about it that way. So leaders also need to be involved. They need to understand AI. They need to understand the implication of it for their organization. And of course, importantly, to understand the framework to drive sustainable AI responsibly within the organization, because ignorance could also be a way of, using AI in a way that inadvertently will harm people. So it's important that everybody understand and be able to speak to it. And AI is not something that is out of reach. there are things that Microsoft are also put in place. For example, we have AI Business School. And this is a platform that provides leaders access to understand how they can build strategy for AI, what are the ways they need to craft their AI journey that will make it beneficial for their organization and avoid pitfalls that could cause harm for their organization or the intended people that it's meant to be used for.
When you talk about relevance, you have to posit it around challenges.
Correct.
And then it makes a lot of sense. And I know that Microsoft and the establishment is doing a lot. But going back to the collaboration with the federal government, maybe I would like you to expand further what other conversations you are having, because some basics in our country, we can't get it right. For instance, we don't even know how many we are. That's the truth. The last time we had the census was 2006, and we've been struggling to get this around. Fundamental things like how many are we, first and foremost, because that helps us in planning, is a challenge. Are there conversations to help us with issues around census and all of this with AI, so that at least we're able to account for our citizens and provide for them?
So, AI has come to stay. Yes, we get that. And AI, there's need for partnership with government. We get all of that. And I will say to you that we will continue our conversation with government. And just as I mentioned earlier on, part of what we're doing is also to have ongoing dialogue with government. And I will say from most of the conversation that we're having, government is also putting a lot of intervention in place to ensure that people have access. So, for example, there is an ongoing conversation around, connectivity, skilling, and also on policy. In the areas that we have direct conversation, we will continue to do that. But in terms of other aspects of government, where we have the opportunity, we have the right set of dialogue and bring the right set of technology to support government to ensure that we are able to leverage AI. And for AI feeds on data. So you are correct around ensuring that we have the right data. But of course, as the opportunity provides itself, we'll continue to have dialogue with government around how we can leverage AI to resolve or to mitigate some of the challenges that we face in the country. I'll say that we have that open door, and we will continue to have the dialogue and bring the right expertise to ensure that we're able to solve for some of the challenges that we have in the country.
Speaking of the possibilities and the conversations that you're having with government, I wonder if you could take us through specific areas. For instance, Kadi asked earlier about how we can use AI to solve some of our problems. It's been an ongoing conversation about how we can use AI to solve kidnapping. For instance, the children in Ekiti State were rescued, but that came at some cost. The driver, was found dead. How we can use AI to solve the challenge of corruption in the public service, how we can use AI, to solve our electoral problems. So are there conversations around these areas where we have systemic problems in the collaboration that you are, having with government?
So, there's different frameworks, and we need to get everything correct, right. And it's a journey. We'll continue to build on it. One of the important things that we've seen is also having the right policy on AI, because solving for all these challenges will take a concerted effort. We need to have different stakeholders that will participate: government, technology company ourselves, private sector participants, industry experts, also need to come to the party. And it's a journey. But with what government have started, with the minister launching the AI strategy for the country, we're having conversation around that. We're also having conversations around regulation, because when you build all these solutions, we need to have the right set of regulation to ensure that solutions that are being built to solve problem is not also creating another challenge for the country. So that is already going on. And we also have launched a partnership with UNDP to come up with a AI framework for the country, and that involves different stakeholders: government, academia, public sector, stakeholders as well, to ensure that we build that right framework that will contribute to the strategy that the government is trying to build. But you are right, with AI, with technology, and partnership with organizations like Microsoft, our partners, and other stakeholders, we can really use technology to solve most of the challenges that we face in the country. And we see how that is being done in other parts of the world.
I know we always say, as we wind down, that what God cannot do does not exist. Right? But a lot of people also think what AI cannot do is really, so can AI really do everything? Or we're just having too much expectations? Because people will now start saying, well, relationship problem, let me give AI to solve it. Literally everything. Is AI really that multifunctional? Can it do everything or solve everything?
So, human created AI, right? AI didn't just evolve on itself, on its own. I think from my own perspective, the limitation of AI depends on human. The level of creativity that we bring to how we want to use AI will determine how far we can go. And that's why it's important, and I'll keep repeating, it's important that everyone participate. And when we put in our collective creativity power, we can really make AI the game changer, not only to drive business impact, but to also drive sustainable development for our country and for Africa at large.
Well, thank you so much. Trust me, all of us have more questions for you.
Absolutely.
As far as this AI issue is concerned, but we don't have the luxury of time. But we must thank you, Country Director of Microsoft Nigeria, Ola Williams, for coming on the program. And we'll reach out to you as much as possible when AI begins to do things that we want some explanations for.
Like a replica of me.
Some people are saying, will AI take our jobs one day? All of that. So.
I hear that question a lot as well. AI, yes, some job functions will change, definitely, just the same way job function changed when internet came. I remember I saw people that were typists on typewriter. Today, they're no more. But guess what? They're doing something related to technology for those of them that get the right skill set. So anyone that get the right skill set, will also be relevant in the AI era. So definitely AI will, some jobs will go away, but it's going to create a lot more opportunities for people.
Fantastic, a good way to land there. Country Director of Microsoft Nigeria, Mrs. Ola Williams, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me
on the program.
Thank you.
Well, we will switch gears now. When we come back after this very short break, well, we'll be talking about what happened at the 66th Grammy Awards. Join us again.